Hello everybody, my name's Miss Vanessa and I'd like to welcome you guys to another episode of Tinker With Me, where I will be taking apart a piece of old technology to see how it works. Today I have something kind of interesting for us to take apart. It is an old remote control car. So currently this remote control car still turns on, but it no longer works. So I'm going to take this apart, and I'm also going to take apart the remote control that comes with the car. Right now it sounds like there's something bouncing around in there. I want to see what that is. I also want to see how the motors work in this and see if we can figure out how it works and why it stopped working maybe. So the most important thing when I am taking apart something is safety. So the first thing I always do is put on my goggles and then take out the batteries. So I'm going to move to another angle so that we can take apart this toy car and see how it works. So come join me on this adventure. Alright, so some of the supplies that I have for us today is some screwdrivers, another set of screwdrivers right here. I have a flashlight just in case I need to take a closer look at something. And I also have a couple things just in case I need to pry something open. But the first thing we do is take out the batteries. So I'm going to start with the toy car, and it looks like there's a screw here. So let's take that screw apart first. Alright, so it looks like this runs on 3 AAA batteries. And just to be safe, I am also going to take out the batteries for the remote control. And it looks like this one runs on 2 AA batteries. Okay, let's set the remote control aside for now and continue working on our car. So I see here that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws that we have to take out. So let's start doing that first. So I have all 6 screws unscrewed, so it should just pop right off now. Okay, let's move all of our screws out of the way. Okay, so it looks like right away, the first thing I'm noticing over here is the motor. So this is a basic motor. You would find the same kind of motor in like an electric toothbrush or like those dollar store tiny fans. I've seen this motor around a whole bunch of different places. So it looks like it runs on a basic motor. Right here we have the motherboard, so it looks like everything, all of the wires are all connecting over here to this motherboard. And let's take apart this over here. It looks like there's 4 more screws. I want to see what's in here. Ooh, that's interesting. This is not a screw. It looks like something in here can turn, and it moves all of these different springs. Do you see that spring right there? So when this is twisted, and I'm pretty sure, here, let's turn it this way. If we move this around, this is what moves that bottom wheel down there in different directions. So if the wheel's gonna go right, it goes this way, or left, it goes this way. So let's finish unscrewing and see how that works. Okay, so here's an interesting looking screw, and that's the one that goes right here that's helping this turning mechanism. So when we pop it off, I see a couple of gears here, and it looks like that is what's getting our wheel to turn. So if it's using the motor here, and the motor will spin this, and it turns the gears, and the gears are what moves this back and forth, which is really interesting. I didn't think that that's how it worked. I had no idea that there was going to be gears in here, but we can see, here we go again. So let's move this gear to the front, and so we spin it, and as we spin it, you can see it turning back and forth, and then this will also move this thing, which will then move the wheel back and forth. Just super interesting. Like I said, I wouldn't think that that's how it works. And then it looks like on this side of the car, we have more springs. And I'm not sure what that is doing. But it's interesting to see. Oh, okay, so it looks like there's something here, and then when you press the two buttons on the side, it pops up. So let's look on the other side. If I press this down, it pushes this little blue lever down, and then if you pop these two, it pushes it back into place. Something else that I wanted to take a look at is this car has LED lights. When we turned it on, these two lights turned on, so I wanted to take a look and see what is inside over here where the LED lights would be. So let me unscrew those. And see if we can pop them off. Okay. So here it is, and I unscrewed these two levers on the side to see if I can pop it out. Okay, so I finally got that other one out. So we should just be able to push the LED lights out now. Okay, so here we go. It looks like our two LED lights are right here, and the wires on either side of this go, and they lead right to the batteries. Alright, so yeah, we can see the two LED, and on here it says XC LED, so that's how you know that these are LED lights. Let's see if there's anything else we want to take apart in here. But I think our most interesting find was seeing that the motor doesn't actually move these wheels over here. The only wheel that it's moving is these over here. So I wonder if there's a second motor. Let's see if we take the motherboard off, if we can find a second motor in here. Let's move that aside. Aha! Okay, so there is a second motor. We can see it is hiding back here. See this silver one? It's almost identical to the one over here. And I also, in taking that off, found a speaker. So this is what was making that sound when I turned it on at first. It made the beeping sound. So I think we've found everything that we can find in this car. I'm going to move everything aside, and then we're going to take apart this and find out what's making that noise. Okay, so here's our remote control car. We already took out the batteries back here, so let's unscrew the rest of these screws and see how this might be working. Looks like we might have to, because of this button here, we might have to break it to open it. Let me see if it's the antenna that's holding it in place. See if I can pop that out. Alright, yep, it was the antenna that was holding it in place. Alright, to begin with, our two buttons popped out, and it looks like the two buttons go here, and they're just simple button mechanisms. It looks like there's an up and down button, so you press up and it presses the up button, and if you press down it presses this down button, and then this one is just the complete opposite. But if you press up, if you press right, it presses the right button, and if you press left, it'll press the left button. And here are the two wires that lead to the battery, and it looks like that's about it. There is, you can see ANT here, which I'm assuming stands for antenna. So this must be what is giving the frequencies to the car when it's moving. And the only other thing that I see is this LED light. So it's just a teeny tiny LED light. And then there's something here. I'm not sure if this is the yes, it's the power button. So it's a switch. You can switch it on and you can switch it off. And so I'm assuming that if we were to take these screws off, it would cut off the power to the batteries when you switch it on and off. So let's take a look and see if that's right. Oh, and that sound that we were hearing, it's just a broken piece of something in here. It must have been something in the back of this motherboard. So let's take off these screws and see what's behind here, because I'd like to see how that switch works. Okay. Alright, so there's our antenna, and it looks like the only thing that is connecting it is right here. So it looks like it's touching these little sensors there. So let's move our antenna out of the way. And what I wanted to see was our on and off switch. So it's interesting because I don't see anything happening in there. but I know that somehow it's cutting off the power to the batteries, which are connected right here. But yeah, that's all I see in here that I understand. I know there's probably more going on in here that I don't understand, but as I've mentioned before, I'm not super technologically inclined, but just seeing what I can see is super interesting in itself. Alright, so we were able to successfully take apart a toy car. I was able to see what was inside. It was super interesting to see things that you wouldn't guess are inside of a toy car. I had a lot of fun doing it. Make sure that if you're going to try this at home, you're not doing it on your new toys. Make sure you're wearing safety goggles, make sure you have a parent present, and make sure you take out any batteries or anything electrical from something before you take it apart yourself. I hope you guys have fun. I hope you guys join me next time I take something apart, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!